Good morning. Welcome to SmartFox TV. Hope you enjoy the show.
Kim here, and thanks for joining me for the current news. One takeaway from yesterday's election day is that Arizona, which has been a long, deep red state, turned blue for Biden yesterday. Biden is the second president in the last 72 years since 1948 to flip the state blue. This is an updated election news with Joe Biden having 238 electoral votes and Donald Trump with 213 electoral votes. Currently, Joe Biden is leading the election, with Trump following very, very closely behind. If you were able to vote yesterday and the days prior, I hope that you had a great experience, especially with this being one of your first times, depending on your age. This is Kim, and thank you for joining me for the current news.
It is time for some random trivia election edition. Now, usually the incumbent wins the office. That's usually what happens in most elections, but not always. In this case, what was the worst finish in history for an incumbent president running for election? Was it Millard Fillmore, Herbert Hoover, William Howard Taft, or Martin Van Buren? Don't know? Well, it's actually William Howard Taft in 1912. He only got 23.2% of the popular vote, basically giving him the worst finish in history for an incumbent president. But to be fair, it wasn't entirely his fault. Woodrow Wilson, who won the election, was actually going against two people. William Howard Taft split his party ticket with Teddy Roosevelt, who was running as a Bull Moose Party candidate. Interesting history. This has been Random Trivia.
Hi everyone, this is Sally Fang from SmartFox TV, and today we have a special guest from Chicago, Illinois. Can you introduce yourself to our students?
Sure. Hi, I'm Miss Ng, and I am an English language teacher. So I teach students that speak another language. And I am in a school for 6th to 12th graders.
Great. And, we've all been through this pandemic now for almost a whole year. So I'd like to know, what were some initial challenges that that people in Illinois faced when the pandemic first started?
Sure. I would say that we started experiencing the real effects of it in mid-March. We heard about things going on around the world and a few cases like on the East Coast or on the West Coast. But in Illinois, we're kind of central, so we didn't really hear too much about it. But when it did start popping up in our state, immediately the schools were closed. So that was one of the first precautions, and it really shocked all of us in education. I think the teachers were told maybe the week of it might be happening, and then the decision was made, and basically the next day we went to remote learning. So all of us were pretty surprised by that. We weren't very used to e-learning at all. The students took home their Chromebooks, but maybe hadn't been trained about what we would be doing. So all of us felt a bit unprepared. I think many of the families in our community felt anxious just because of this sudden change. Many of them had to think about, what do we do with kids now? Like, who's going to take care of them? Also, some of our families, the parents or the older siblings lost their jobs. So they felt a bit of insecurity with finances or even food. When we went to the grocery stores, there was definitely shortage of supplies, like cleaning supplies, toilet paper. Many people were just buying out a lot of the food. So even going to the grocery store, I remember one time everything, like the meat aisle was almost completely empty except for a few items. And so that just is it creates a lot of feelings of anxiety. And I think that was the general feel probably March through May during that time.
I see. And just, you being an educator, navigating through the pandemic like everyone else, were there particular things that you felt like you had to adjust to, or your students had to adjust to, other than the online learning, or was that sort of a major challenge for you?
I think, yeah, definitely that was the major one. The spring months were a lot harder just because no one really knew what to expect or what to do. But as we progressed and as teachers, they received more training in the summer and they had more time to just rest and plan for remote learning. This fall has been going a lot better. So a lot of the challenges were just with technology, whether from the teacher end or the student end, and students having internet access. But through these past months, our community has done a lot to support families who need help with that. Other challenges were just attendance and getting students online and connecting with teachers. And so our school has made, strong approaches or strong efforts to reach out to families, whether through phone calls or maybe even like safe house visits, drive-bys, just to check on families and see how they're doing. We've also had food drives for the families that felt a bit of food insecurity. So in those ways, partnering with community members, trying to make sure that families felt supported, whether in academics or also in their basic needs. So the fall has gone a lot better. We just started in person the past couple weeks with probably about maybe 70 to 80% of the students choosing to come back in person, and the rest still choosing fully remote. So it's majority of the students are back in person and getting used to that hybrid style of learning.
I love how your district in particular came together and really just, even though they're no longer in the building at the time, that you still reached out and did drive-throughs and, providing for some of these other needs. So I love that, your school kind of stepped up and did that. And I like that they still have this option of hybrid learning, like whether it's those who are comfortable to go to school, they can, and those who still want to stay home, they can. So thank you so much for just sharing your experience during this time. I have one last question.
Sure.
Do you have any advice for students even now who are, whether they're at home or whether they're at school physically, any advice for them as they may be struggling through this pandemic?
Sure. I would say ask for help and be a helper. So during this time, all of us feel a sense of uncertainty. We feel we don't know what's going to happen in the future. And even right now, there's many things that we're learning to do ourselves. And I would say there's definitely people in your life that want to help you, whether it's maybe a teacher or another adult, someone in your family, someone in your community. They want to help. And sometimes it's just a matter of expressing what you need and asking for that. And also, what I've really been encouraged by seeing some of my students, they've really blossomed through this time because they help others. So they might be an older sibling and have younger siblings that are also struggling. And when I see them helping their brothers and sisters, or even on a Zoom meeting, helping their fellow students, kind of like walking them through a math problem or explaining something in Spanish to another student who also speaks Spanish, I see them growing as well. So I would say whatever you need, seek out people in your circle who are willing to help you and ask for help, and also look for opportunities where you can be that person helping others.
Some very wise words. Thank you so much for just your time today. And for those of you out there, heed that advice. Let's all stay positive and do our best and just ride through this together. Thanks again for checking out our segment today.
Thanks for watching SmartFox TV. I'm Chris Yates.
I'm Kim.
I'm Sally.
I'm Tracy.
Until next time, stay
Stay
foxy.
foxy.